What if your opinions were never yours to begin with? What if the beliefs you defend, the values you preach, the truths you hold, were carefully placed in your mind by people you've never met? Not by accident, by design. This is the philosophy of manipulation. And it didn't begin with television, or the internet, or even the printing press. It began with philosophy itself. Plato's allegory of the cave is more than a metaphor, it's a warning. In it, prisoners are shackled inside a cave, watching shadows on a wall, believing them to be reality. When one prisoner escapes and sees the real world, he returns to tell the others. But they don't believe him. They hate him for disturbing the comfort of their illusion. This isn't just a story about truth. It's about how tightly we cling to falsehoods when they make us feel safe. Plato recognized that people don't want the truth. They want reassurance. The cave is cozy. The shadows are simple. The truth burns our eyes. And if people choose illusion over reality, then those who control the illusion control the people. Enter the sophists, teachers in ancient Greece who claimed they could teach anyone to win any argument, regardless of the truth. To them, persuasion was more powerful than logic. Style mattered more than substance. Emotion could override reason. Socrates despised them, but he feared them for good reason. They were the first philosophers to formalize the art of manipulation, not as a moral failing, but as a tool of influence. And that tool has only sharpened over time. When empires needed order, they didn't just build armies, they built religions. Grand narratives about sin and salvation, good and evil, divine punishment and eternal reward. These stories weren't told for spiritual enlightenment alone. They created compliance. A cathedral isn't just architecture, it's a psychological device. Massive, intimidating, awe-inspiring. You walk in and you feel small, you feel watched, you feel afraid to question. Ritual, incense, scripture, all tools for repetition, conditioning, submission. If you can make someone believe their thoughts are being judged by an invisible authority, you don't need chains. You've already captured their conscience. Machiavelli was honest in a way that shocked the world. In The Prince, he wrote that it is better for a ruler to be feared than loved, that appearances matter more than substance, that power is not about being moral, it's about being effective. He didn't invent manipulation, he revealed its logic. Power survives by shaping perception, by staging performances, by making cruelty look like justice and silence look like peace. Machiavelli was the first to frame manipulation as statecraft, not sin. He didn't teach tyranny. He described it coldly, accurately, and without shame. Fast forward to the 20th century. Edward Bernays, nephew of Sigmund Freud, weaponized psychoanalysis to manipulate the masses. He didn't just create modern advertising, he created modern opinion. His methods were simple. Associate products with primal drives. Use fear, desire, envy. Don't sell the thing, sell the identity it promises. His campaigns helped women take up smoking by branding cigarettes as symbols of female empowerment. He wasn't marketing tobacco. He was marketing rebellion. Bernays helped corporations and governments alike. He advised political leaders, influenced wars, and manufactured public consent. He called it engineering consent, a polite name for psychological warfare. Today we live in an ecosystem Bernays could only dream of. Social media doesn't just influence us, it studies us. Algorithms track what we click, what we fear, what we crave. Then they feed it back to us, stronger, faster, deeper. We think we are choosing, but the options were pre-selected, the content pre-filtered, the outrage pre-loaded. We call it the attention economy, but it's really a behavior economy. What you believe, what you buy, what you support, has already been modeled, predicted, and nudged. And the most terrifying part, you think you're informed. People don't obey because they're stupid. They obey because they're exhausted. Constant questioning is painful. Doubt is heavy. Certainty feels good. That's why manipulation works best when it offers relief. A villain to blame, a hero to follow, a simple narrative that organizes the chaos. And if it flatters your existing bias, even better. You share it, you preach it, you become a node in the machine, reinforcing the very illusion that enslaves you. And all the while, you believe you're awake. Language is not neutral. Words are not innocent. Every time a philosopher, a politician, or a preacher speaks, they are shaping perception, framing reality. Consider the difference between collateral damage and civilian deaths, or enhanced interrogation and torture. These aren't just linguistic quirks, they are manipulations. George Orwell warned us of this. In 1984, language itself becomes a weapon. Newspeak eliminates complex thought by removing the words to express it. If you can't say freedom, how can you desire it? Every shift in culture is accompanied by a shift in vocabulary. Because if you control the words people use, you control the limits of their thinking. True manipulators don't use force, they use framing. They ask leading questions. They present false dilemmas. They play on scarcity, urgency, social proof. They construct narratives with heroes and villains, then sell you the illusion of choice. Consider how media frames a protest. Is it a riot or a movement? Are the participants thugs or activists? The facts may be identical. The labels change everything. Every headline you read, every ad you scroll past, every political slogan is engineered to bypass thought and provoke reaction. They don't want you to think. They want you to choose sides. And if you're always choosing sides, you're never choosing freedom. From childhood, we are taught what to think, not how to think. Schools reward obedience over insight, memorization over questioning. Morality is presented as a fixed list of do's and don'ts, often detached from consequence or context. Why? Because a person who questions everything is inconvenient. They slow down systems. They disrupt consensus. So instead of teaching skepticism, institutions condition submission. We are told to respect authority, trust the experts, follow the rules, regardless of who writes them or why. The result? Millions of minds, trained not to think freely, but to function smoothly within a system built for control. The illusion of morality is the velvet glove over the iron fist. To rebel philosophically is not to shout louder, it's to think deeper. It's to take full responsibility for your cognition, to refuse every prepackaged belief, every tribal loyalty, every comforting dogma, to train your mind not just for intelligence, but for independence. This rebellion is quiet. It happens in solitude, in doubt, in books and thoughts and conversations that fracture certainty. You stop seeking validation and start seeking vision. You do not fear being wrong. You fear being manipulated. And when the crowd chants for one truth, you step back and listen for the silence beneath their screams. The world doesn't need more opinions. It needs more thinkers. Not followers of trends or doctrines, but individuals who dare to look beneath the surface. To understand manipulation is to see the world differently, not with paranoia, but with precision. Not to fear every message, but to question its origin, its intent, its effect. Freedom begins not with escape, but with awareness. It begins the moment you stop reacting and start reflecting. So ask yourself, not just what you believe, but why. Who planted that seed? Who watered it? Who profits from your certainty? If you found clarity here, don't let it end when the video stops. Share this with someone still trapped in the shadows. Like, comment, and subscribe, not for approval, but to build a network of minds that question, challenge, and awaken. Because the only true immunity to manipulation is the relentless pursuit of truth.